And a very good day to you all. My name is Kevin. I'm the Director of Sales from African Travel, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joining you today to bring you a little express trip to Africa. You know, at African Travel, we are very, very proud to be working with Maurice Murdock Travel. And we are great believers in what your travel advisor or your travel agent brings to the table for you. Therefore, at African Travel, we do not actually do any marketing or direct work with you as the traveler. We really highly encourage you to book everything through Maurice Murdock. Your travel advisor there is going to know a lot about you. They're going to know exactly what floats your boat, what you're looking for, and then they come to somebody like us, and we've got all the expertise on Africa, and we come together and we create the perfect marriage that creates the perfect itinerary for you to have a life-changing experience in what is truly an amazing, amazing destination. So as I mentioned, my name is Kevin, and I am actually born and raised in Zambia, which is in Central Africa. So Africa is an absolute passion of mine. I could have you here until cornflakes time tomorrow talking about Africa, but we have a very limited time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started in Africa. So at African Travel, our moniker is We Know Africa, and this purely and simply is because it is true. We've been in business for over 45 years, and we do nothing but Africa. We don't offer the rest of the world. We focus 24/7, 365. We eat, breathe, eat, and sleep Africa. So we love Africa. It's what we're all about, and it is just an amazing, amazing destination. We currently offer 17 different countries in Africa, starting up in Egypt, but then coming on down through East Africa and down on into Southern Africa. So the 17 countries, we are what I consider to be probably more traditional safari Africa. And our roots truly do run deep in Africa. We are part of the Travel Corporation, and the Travel Corporation is the largest privately held travel company in the world. It was actually founded in South Africa in a small fishing village just outside of Cape Town, actually 100 years ago. So we've been in business a long time, and since it was founded in South Africa, Africa absolutely is in our DNA, and our roots truly do run deep. And in African Travel, we are great believers in everything to do with giving back to our planet, to the conservation of wildlife, and to the people. So every itinerary that we create is going to have a give back feature, and we really are true great believers in sustainability. And it's very important that the people of Africa and the wildlife of Africa work together to ensure that the continent of Africa will be here in its present form for many generations to come. So just how big is Africa? Well, actually, it's pretty big. I know that a lot of you will go to your advisor at Maurice Murdock, and you're going to say, well, listen, I want to go to Cape Town, and I definitely want to go on safari in South Africa, and I'd love to go to Victoria Falls, and boy, I would love to see the gorillas up in Rwanda, and perhaps get an opportunity to see the Great Migration in East Africa. And then while I'm there, my gosh, I might as well go up to Egypt and do the pyramids, but I want to do it all in 7 to 10 days. And we just look at you and go, great, ambitious, but just simply cannot be done. So I love to show you how the United States can be superimposed into Africa 3, if not even possibly 4 times, and that we have to therefore manage your expectation of how much you can actually do in the time that you're traveling to Africa. The other thing, of course, is we all know that you're going to say, well, I'm going to Africa. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and we're all going to look and say, yep, absolutely, because we know when you come back, you're all going to say, my gosh, I had such an amazing time. I cannot wait to go back and see more of Africa. So let's start at South Africa and why you should consider this part of the continent. So South Africa is what I consider to be Africa 101. Everybody that you're going to interact here is going to speak English, hot and cold running water everywhere, flushing toilets everywhere, and an amazing level of gourmet cuisine. Cape Town, which is the mother city of South Africa, is considered to be one of the top cities in the world for foodies. Also happens to be one of the top cities in the world to visit. But of course, safari is very, very important as well, and we know that's what most people are going to. But I mentioned Cape Town, and it truly is a stunningly beautiful city, and therefore no visit to South Africa would be complete without at least a couple of days in Cape Town. I recommend usually at least 3 or 4 nights. This is a beautiful outdoor city surrounded on three sides by water, the iconic Table Mountain in the background. You could spend a month in Cape Town and not do and see everything. It's a fantastic, fantastic place to be. And of course, going up Table Mountain is what everybody wants to do. And you get up there by way of this cable car that as you are slowly ascending and descending, it slowly rotates so that everybody in the car gets fantastic views out over the ocean, the city, and the mountain itself. We also love to get you down to Cape Point. This is the southernmost point on the continent of Africa. It's blustery, it's beautiful, it's rugged. It's just an amazing, amazing way to spend a best part of certainly a morning. And then from there, about 20 miles along the coast, we take you to Boulders Beach. And Boulders Beach is home to a year-round colony of penguins. So you don't have to go all the way to Antarctica to see penguins. And as I always love to say, who doesn't love to see a couple of penguins kissing on the beach? Very close to the center of Cape Town are the Cape Winelands. This is actually only about 25 miles out of the center of Cape Town. And this is a stunningly beautiful part of South Africa. South African wines have come a very long way in the last few years and are winning prizes with the very, very best of the French and the Californian wines. But even if you're not a wine drinker, just look at this image. This is so beautiful. It's a Kodak moment at every turn. So to get out to the Cape Winelands, even for just half a day or a full day, and if you are into wine, you can do a couple of tastings. There are wonderful restaurants out here. And many people actually go out and spend a night or two because there are fabulous boutique hotels. The people of South Africa, and indeed the people of Africa in general, are very welcoming. They smile, they sing beautifully, and they just love welcoming you to their countries. And then, of course, the safari portion. So once we get out onto safari, particularly in South Africa, I'm going to use a word, but I use it in the most positive terms possible. You're going to be shocked by how up close and personal you get with the animals. This image is in no way doctored. And of course, everybody's looking to tick off those big five. So we've got our lion, our buffalo, the elephant. Up in the top right there, the leopard. That is the most elusive of the big five. And then, of course, my friends, the rhino. And they are critically endangered. And in African travel, we have doing everything we can to try and ensure their longevity and that they're around for many generations to come. Number one add-on to any trip to South Africa is, of course, Victoria Falls. This is the largest curtain of water in the world, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And here you can be as crazy as you want. You can go bungee jumping, you can go zip lining, you can go out in inflatables or kayaks, or you can just simply, there is a wonderful walkway that goes all the full length of the falls, overlooking the falls with fantastic turnouts for amazing photography. And it's just an amazing, amazing sight. Now let's move up into East Africa a little bit, and we're going to look at Kenya and at Tanzania. So I put these together because I think they are very similar topographically and aesthetically. So here we've got a little bit of a difference. In South Africa, we talked about Cape Town and the animals being very close. And when you're out on safari and you're going to get your animal fix very, very quickly. So in fact, in South Africa, most people only do 3 or maybe 4 nights on safari. When it comes to East Africa, we're now dealing with much greater swaths of land. This is majestic, raw Africa. And it's possible to sometimes drive 2 hours and see little or nothing. But when you find it, wow, you're going to be blown away. So therefore, the safari experience in East Africa usually lasts 8, 9, or 10 days. And as a result of that, as I said, once you do find the animals, very often they will be in multitudes. But it also gives you the opportunity to explore 3 or 4 different areas in each of the countries. And that's how a typical safari to East Africa would be set up. So an example of that would be in Tanzania. We could take you to Tarangire National Park. This does tend to fly a little bit under the radar. Not a lot of people go to Tarangire, but the wildlife here is fantastic. And that is why I love it, because you often will have the park almost to yourself and an incredible collection of baobab trees that you see here in the image. We can then take you onto Lake Manyara, and as the name would imply, it is on a lake. And here the bird life is fascinating. Everybody comes out of this and away from here going, wow, I never knew I was so interested in birds, and I never knew I could learn so much about birds. And it was amazing, loved it. And of course, there was also a very good variety of 4-legged animals here too. And then on to Ngorongoro Crater. Now, this is probably one of the most magnificent sites on the continent of Africa, if not on the planet. It is one of the largest craters in the world. Many people consider it should be the 8th natural wonder of the world. It's fascinating. The animals that live in the crater never leave the crater. No humans live in the crater. So all the lodges are up on the rim of the crater. And to come out onto your balcony in the morning with your steaming cup of coffee and to look down into the crater, and you hear the lions roaring and the elephants trumpeting and the clouds are cascading down the side of the crater like a waterfall. Just magical. Absolutely so special. And then in Tanzania, we will take you on to Serengeti National Park. This is probably the most famous of all of the parks in Africa, and it's truly where the safari experience started some 70, 75 years ago. The equivalent to Serengeti in Kenya would be the Masai Mara, equally as famous. You always have the opportunity in East Africa, but in other parts of Africa too, to go on hot air balloon ride. And I always recommend you do this if you're interested. It's a wonderful way to waft over the plains of Africa in total silence, and all you hear every now and then is just the pump of gas as they keep the balloon inflated. And of course, at the end of the balloon trip, we will land. Promise not to land in a pride of lions or cheetahs, and you will be treated to a wonderful traditional champagne breakfast. It's just fantastic. And East Africa, of course, is home to the Great Migration. And one of the big myths about Great Migration is that it is just once a year. This is a 12-month cycle. So no matter what time of year that you go to East Africa, if you're interested in seeing the migration, we can take you to the right area of that part of Africa in order to witness it. Moving on now to Rwanda. So Rwanda is very special. This is a tiny little country in East Africa, and it is very primarily known for its primates, and very specifically the gorillas. There are actually 13 species of primates found in Rwanda that are found nowhere else in Africa or anywhere else in the world, come to that. And going gorilla trekking with the gorillas, gorilla trekking is truly a life-changing experience. This is all about the wow. Any trip to Africa is going to be loaded with wow moments. I cannot guarantee what your wow moment is going to be, but there will be wow moments, and gorilla trekking is surely one of them. But of course, you also have the opportunity to see the chimpanzees. They are neurotic, they're fun, they're great, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful time to go chimpanzee trekking as well. And the people of Rwanda, and as I mentioned earlier, the people in South Africa, the people in Africa in general, but while Rwanda in particular, so friendly and so welcoming, and just have a lot of fun. They love to see foreigners come to learn about their culture. So moving now down into Southern Africa again, we'll take a look at Botswana. And Botswana is home to the Okavango Delta. This is the largest inland delta in the world. And so therefore, all of the animals here have adapted to living in, on, and around the water. And therefore, much of your safari experience will be done in, on, and water. So it is amazing to see. And as I mentioned, every trip to Africa is all about those wow moments. How do you get more wow than this? If you come home with images like this, you are going to be the talking point of your communities, towns, cities, villages, whatever it might be, at their dinner parties and cocktail parties for weeks, days, months to come. It truly is incredible. I also want to mention a brand new safari lodge that has just opened in Botswana. It opened on December 1st. This is Kidjara Safari Lodge. It is part of the Red Carnation collection. And everything that Red Carnation touches turns to gold. They have properties all over the world, but they have a couple in South Africa hotels, but this is their first stop at the Safari Lodge. And they have done an amazing job. And this truly will become the best safari lodge in all of Africa in 2021. It is simply amazing. Moving on now to Namibia. Namibia and Botswana share a border, which makes it very, very interesting because, as I told you, Botswana is all waterlogged with the Okavango Delta. Namibia is all about the desert. And people are absolutely amazed to find that there are elephants and rhinos and lions and giraffes and all sorts of animals that have adapted to living in these very harsh conditions in the desert. The major tribe here are the Himba people. Fascinating, amazing to talk to and learn about how they too survive in the desert. So it's incredible how you've got these two countries right next to each other, one that's all about water and one that is all about the desert. Moving on up into more central part of Southern Africa, we've got Zambia and Zimbabwe. And I think I told you at the beginning that I am originally born and raised in Zambia. And I draw your attention here to top left and top right. This is Mfui Lodge in Zambia. And this lodge was built around a grove of mango trees, and the elephants had been feasting on these mangoes for generations. So after the lodge was built, the elephants were like, well, to heck with your lodge, we're still coming for our mangoes. And elephants are creatures of habit. So their pathways that have always taken them to mangoes take them now through what is the lobby of the lodge. So this is, I was talking about wow moments. I cannot guarantee this will happen while you're at Mfui Lodge, but my gosh, if it does, this is truly a wow moment and absolutely amazing. Last stop on this trip to Africa, we're going to look at Madagascar, which is an island about 500 miles off the coast of the mainland Africa in the Indian Ocean. Madagascar is the Galapagos of Africa. It has 85% of its flora and fauna are found nowhere else on the planet. 107 species and subspecies of lemur, just simply amazing. And color reigns supreme here. And here I want you to take a look up at that top right. You see my little friend. He is a blue-eyed black lemur. And his claim to fame is that he is the only primate on Earth, aside from human beings, that has blue eyes. Just simply incredible. So I know then you say, well, Kevin, this is all very well, but where are we going to stay? Are we going to be in some sort of mud hut with a thatched roof and a hole around the back to the bathroom? Nothing could be further from the truth. The lodges in all throughout Africa are so comfortable. The luxury that is afforded to you in your accommodations is simply amazing. And at African Travel, we are all about 4- and 5-star luxury. We want you to go out. We want you to have an amazing day out in the plains of Africa, seeing the animals, and then to come back to total comfort, relaxation, incredible service, wonderful food. This is not a presidential suite. This is a standard bathroom in a lodge in South Africa. Now, this one does have a private plunge pool to it. Not all of them have that, but if you want it, we can absolutely make sure that you do. And even if you stay in a tented camps are fantastic. I actually just returned from Kenya myself and stayed in 3 different places. 2 of them were tented camps, and just amazing. If you didn't touch the walls of you would barely know that you were in a tent. It's incredible. And they are all have air conditioning where required, private ensuite bathrooms. So don't be afraid of a tented camp. And you can get some amazing experiences in tents. How much more out of Africa do you get than something like this? And this, to me, is the ultimate in sleeping in Africa. This is what we call a star bed. So it is, we all live under the same sky. But the African sky is truly amazing. 1 million points of light that shine down upon you. And what better way to see it than to sleep out in the open in like this? And for those of you who might be wondering, if you look at the 4-poster bed, drop down 1 level and to the right a little bit, you will see that there is an enclosed area there. This is the bathroom, so you don't have to pee over the edge in the middle of the night. We talked earlier about the big 5. There are, of course, many, many, many small species of animals to see. My friends, the giraffes and the hippos, I love down in the bottom left there. We have the painted wolves of Africa. I think that's such a fantastic description of them, given the way their coats are mottled and the design on them. And then in the bottom right here, we're looking at a honey badger. He is the most elusive critter in all of Africa. I know people who've been rangers for 40 years and never seen one. But I also know people that have been a couple of times to Africa and saw a honey badger on both trips, but they are very, very rare indeed. And of course, in Africa, we love our tradition of sundowners. So this is where we stop at the end of the day, about 15 minutes before the sun sets. Out of the Jeep comes a table and tablecloths and linens and napkins and plates and appetizers and a full bar and whiskey and gin and rum and vodka and tequila and everything you can imagine, and red wine and white wine and coffee and tea and all the mixes to go with it. It's like Mary Poppins pulling it all out of the back of the Jeep. It's absolutely incredible. It was like, wow, where has all this stuff been? And then we stop, we pour ourselves a drink, and we bid farewell to the sun every day. So it is a truly wonderful African tradition that I simply, simply love. What I want to do with you as we close this presentation is, I mentioned I was just in Kenya just a couple of weeks ago. And so I do want to share with you my own personal experience, a very short video clip that'll just give you an idea of what you can expect on a morning out in safari. We're out in the bush and we're on the Mara, plains of Africa, underneath this beautiful acacia tree. Absolutely fantastic. And we're going to just about ready to start and have some breakfast. So we're looking forward to that. So this is really remarkable. This is the tree where we were just having breakfast. And look who showed up. And now they're marking the territory. How long would you? It's fun. So just simply remarkable. And I just want to double clarify that we were having breakfast there. We were just finishing breakfast when the ranger and the driver and the Maasai person that were with us are both rangers. And they're there for your safety as well as in the knowledge of the animals and so on. And they became very aware they can sense things from a far distance, and they became aware that those cheetahs were approaching. So we did a very quick pack up, got everything back into the Jeep and us into the Jeep, and then could see them approaching and then got to enjoy them in exactly the same spot that we had just been having this breakfast overlooking the magnificent plains of Kenya. Just an amazing experience, truly life-changing. And that's one of the big things about Africa. Every trip to Africa is life-changing, always. So we would love to see you in Africa. We would love for you to come and experience our Africa. We take care of the complicated. You know, we can do Africa 101. The folks at Maurice Murdock are ready to make that happen for you. But let's throw us a curveball. Let's do something a little bit fun. Let's do something a little bit different for you. So as I said, we are very proud of our partnership with Maurice Murdock Travel, and we cannot wait to welcome you to Africa and to show you just a little, today was just a little taste of what can be done. This is a truly life-changing experience. And with that, I thank you very, very much, and we look forward to seeing you in Africa.